Well, then welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar with Lukas and Marcel. They were going to say a couple of things about themselves later on. My name is Jan Vermut. I'm from Ventbridge, and with that, I will quickly hand over to Beat, who will introduce us to the whole webinar and what Ventbridge is and what we do. And yeah, so Beat, please.
Product management is changing a lot, and I think it's changing in a very positive way.
Hi, my name is Marcel Brüelisauer. I'm exactly also representative of the product manager with a very technological background in a technical company that is driving now much more towards that customer focus.
Hello all together, my name is Lukas. I joined the company 7 years ago, already as a product manager, but in the sector of gas. And we are now transforming a lot of our company. We'll see that a little bit later. And currently I'm working as a product manager at solar, and I will tell you a little bit more about that later.
Our company, Energie 360, is in the middle of a transformation. Historically, we're the biggest gas provider of the city of Zurich and the surrounding area. And not only is the transformation one from gas, from fossil fuels to renewables, but it's also that we change from a monopoly business to a place with customers. So in the past, our customers basically were gas meters or representative gas meters that were receiving bills. And now we have to win customers. So that not only changes the core of the product, but also the approach that we have to take. And it also changes completely the role of the product manager.
Setting the stage. So let's go a little bit into how then jobs to be done was applied and what this means in the Energie 360 case. So we applied it to these three different products, if you will. It's very normal to start from a product perspective and then ask yourself, what's the job that they actually get done? We applied it in these three cases. So there's district heating, which I'm going to show a little bit of detail of the project. Then Lukas is going to talk about the solar case. And we're not going to get into insights about e-charging stations, but that was like the third project where we applied jobs to be done. So just a little bit of a focus on district heating. So if you have technical questions about district heating, please ask Marcel and not me. But what I can show you is how we apply jobs to be done in that case. And maybe just as a quick introduction for those of you who are new to the thought of jobs to be done or what that actually is. So as Marcel has shown, it's this step away from the solution. In essence, kind of the idea or the core idea of jobs to be done is captured in this quote. People don't want to drill, they want a hole in the wall. Just like they don't want district heating, but maybe they want to have a comfortable temperature at their home or they feel warm, for example. So for all of the target groups that we had, we did one-on-one. That's always how we start in our approach. Deep interviews. So we took an hour or sometimes even more and just want to understand how do they get their job done. For example, of renewing their heating. How do they go about it? Where does it start? Where does it end? And what are the problems that they face along that way? The same we did for municipalities and real estate owners, well, companies that own real estate and these energy sources. So these were in-depth discussions. And what we want to draw out is what are the problems that the people face when they want to get the job done? What we get out of these interviews are quantifiable metrics. I'll show you in a minute what that means. So what you see here is a map on the left with a lot of different dots. All of these dots represent one of these sentences that is shown on the right. Now, they all come from these interviews, these qualitative interviews first. A customer has set them. Here it's an example from the private owners that have told us what is important to them, or one thing that is important to them when they renew their heating is that they want to lose as little freedom as possible to decide on the temperature setting in your apartment or house. So one fear was, if I don't have a heating on my own, I'll then have no power over the decision how hot or cold it is in my apartment.
So before I start, our board of directors decided about 3 years ago that they want to build up a solar division. and my responsibility is to do that for them. And that includes the implementation of our strategy that we defined 3 years ago. And I'm responsible for the product management and the product development. So what did we find out? We found actually 4 major job to be done in our customer segments. They're listed here. So one is to generate additional revenue with a PV plant. One is to show that you're active in the sustainability. One is to actually reduce CO2 emissions, so the carbon footprint. And one is to save electricity costs. Of course, there's more jobs to be done, but these are like the very major jobs to be done, which are usually within our customer segment. So the customer can have also more than one of those, can also have 2, but when you ask some questions, you realize very fast in which field the customer actually is. So with that, we then created selling stories. So we gathered all our salespeople, we made a whole day workshop, and we started making new selling stories according to each jobs to be done. And then with this sales story, we now don't do anymore just selling, like I told you before, just offering a rent XYZ Swiss francs, but we approach a customer very differently. So we try to find out what fits his situation, what is his actual need, and then change the offer accordingly, and to really sell him actually the value that our product has. So the product itself is the same. Product itself didn't change much behind. In the end, it's a PV plant that we build, and for him it doesn't change much, but he receives it very differently. So that's how such a persona looks like. We defined these personas and with all their pain points that they have, with our products that could solve their problems the best. And then we did the different sales story elements that kind of describe exactly how the salespeople have to approach them.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Lukas, for the example and the concrete cases. So to wrap up, we have realized it's very important in the first point to move from opinions to facts, and from internal opinions to external facts. So very often, if we have internal discussions, we go round and round in circles and saying, well, I think this is important, and someone else says, well, I think this is more important, and you actually don't get any further by having those kind of discussions. But you can break that in the moment that you go and you get good customer feedback, and you get the best customer feedback if you don't try to sell something at the same time, which is one of the reasons it's good to separate it from the sales process. And as Lukas has demonstrated, it's very advantageous to move away from a technical, transactional, feature-based selling, and really go into understanding what is the customer value that you get out of a product, of a service, and what can we provide that it's a win-win situation for everybody involved. So we have changed now in that way that we put this at the front of every product development, that we really go and make a deep dive to understand what is the customer need, what is the value that we create with going into this direction of the product development, ideally combined with customer interviews. And what the value of that is not only to go into the right direction, but also not to go into the wrong direction, to be able to say no to internal ideas of how to further develop their products, to save efforts, to save your own time, and to focus yourself, your own development resources, of your team, of yourself, of everybody around you, and to actually build something that everybody's happier with at the end. And so for me, I can say it's been been a very interesting journey that we've embarked upon, and I'm looking forward to what it will bring additional in the future.